or are we just sitting back as though, well, keep them at arm's length? What's going on with that since you're into it?
They really appreciate the people who understand us. People are coming in, pairing with us and partnering with us. They get excited. Many times people don't have knowledge until when knowledge is shared with them. Now, when you look at the work of God as only sitting on the altar and talking on the altar, and start looking at how you can take a member from the closed church to your own, that is not what Jesus really died for. There are people dying out there. There are people who have not even heard the gospel. And many times they want to follow God, but there is nothing who is telling them. And even who is telling them, what is the attitude of the person telling them? Some need help, some don't have water, some don't even have food. And the book of James told us, if you say, I love you, a brother is hungry and you go to that brother, though, I love you, and you know you can buy him bread. So sometimes reaching out, sharing love could actually bring one into the kingdom.
You know, talking about the orphanages, I mean, don't we need a deliberate plan in terms of how we should make it part of us? Because I know that in some other climes, you even have corporations. They tell their members of staff, okay, they schedule it. On this day, you go, or a certain number of people go to this orphanage or go to this home, go and spend your day there and work with them on that day, and the company takes care of all the bills. And so, do we need some sort of plan to make it deliberate that we also be seen to accept them as part of us?
I think we need it, and in the four wall of the church which I belong, we preach it. We sound that trumpet that apart from people coming to look for us, to sit with us, we need to have a cut-out program where once in a year, like I do once in a year, in different places at different times, once in a year, let it also spread. Like in Apostolic Army in Lagos, we have over 600 ministers on Apostolic Army. We preach this. Try and do that. Apart from your church member or members, try and reach out to as many people as you can reach out to.
It might feel like a tiny drop in the ocean. I'm sure some people do get discouraged because you say that people have become more selfish. When Nyota asked you about how we lost certain things, some people might not agree that we became more selfish. Some people might say that the world became a lot more wicked. So much so that if in times past you see somebody stranded, while you're driving, when you might just say, oh, this is somebody stranded, let me take that person into my car. We've heard all sorts of stories about, things that have happened to people who try to show that kind of kindness. And so people say, just be safe. If you see people stranded, it becomes even very difficult. And even when you see an accident scene, you try to take the person in your car. When you see the process that it takes to even prove that you did not cause the accident in the very first instance, things become a lot more difficult. What message would you have to those people who are naturally or who still have kindness left in their hearts, but are finding it difficult to extend that kindness and that love in this very difficult period?
Yes, I will admonish them to continue doing good, because looking at it, we are talking about meeting people stranded. Sometime it could be us, and so I would want to also admonish them to continue doing it, though. Like you are talking about the society. Mm-hmm. Society is so untrustworthy. So you cannot really place finger on what's really happening. Mm-hmm. When it comes to safety, when it comes to right, when it comes to look at security. But then that should not stop somebody to say he will not reach out to a people that he should reach out to. Looking at it from that angle, though it's risky in our kind of society where you may not have any right to defend yourself, even when you are trying to display that kind of kindness. But I think one should not be discouraged, even if though being careful to render such services at times. But one should still have to reach out to people to see how he can still be a blessing to such kind of people. That's the way I look at it.
Well, if you look at the times that we're in now, political times, I mean, a lot of things happening in the polity. We're also being told that, economically as well, things are going to be a little difficult in the coming year with the budget that we've seen from the federal government, the dwindling price of oil. You already had some of those stories in the marketplaces, when you go to the market and find out what is happening, even during the Christmas when things are supposed to be bubbling. It doesn't sound very well. Some people are getting rather discouraged. Do we have reason to be discouraged?
Well, for me, if we look at what is unfolding in the world, I always draw my conclusion from the book of Revelation. As we are moving towards the end time, with the hardship, these things will be on the increase, because wickedness is on the increase. And it still brings me back to where I am as a pastor, a leader of the people. I should be able to preach it and speak the truth to the world, so that there's actually when you preach the word and you tell the world how it should be, somehow, somewhere, somebody would just start thinking, when you are positive in preaching. I'm in Nigeria, I don't prophesy, I read papers, I watch the news, but in my heart, I still believe there is hope for this nation. So I don't project the negative light of Nigeria, even though I can see what the paper is saying and what. So I learn to see things the way God is seeing it. I see it positive. I see that a day will come that we will grow above, our things will get improved in this country for us.
Is that in the coming kingdom?
Well, I believe that God is still interested in Nigeria, and we have to go through certain things to really become what He wants us to be. And nobody want to go through anything, but I know that Nigeria is going through a phase.
Let me even talk a little bit about pastors and their importance or role or essence in our society today.
Yeah.
Do we see them tell the politicians or tell the country the truth or advise them, no matter whose ox is God, no matter how rich they may be? Do we see that still happening?
That is not happening. It is not happening because it's like everybody's after his own. And you get to a rich man or a big government man, and you're only singing his praises, so for him to give you some help or whatever. But it's supposed not to be so. In the Bible days, it wasn't like that. The leaders in the church, the pastors, should be able to reject certain meats, certain offerings, certain tithes, certain things, in order to tell the person, now look, the way you are doing and the way things are going around you, your office, what you're doing, I will not take it from you until you begin to do the right thing. We are not. Sometimes you see, people who are exposed to these things, they're not really bold to look at the person involved and say, look, since you became the local government councillor, you have deviated, you have not really been, all you promised us you've not done. And bringing me this money or coming to me, I should be able to tell you, it's left for the person to accept what I'm saying. But I should say it, but we are not saying it.
Why?
It's because of materialism. The heart of people are choked with material things. The essence, why was I called to be a preacher? I was called to be a preacher to save souls, not to eat them up. But the major salvation message on the altar disappeared. Everybody is talking, and somebody coming to say, if you know how much acres of land, how much, are we taking this thing away from here? That's where I say we have missed it. That is why, if now a man who preaches such message, who believes in such thing, if he sees one senator, no matter what he's doing, coming to him for any guys, definitely he will condescend. He won't be able.
So
be able to say.
as we enter this political season, because we will definitely see a lot of politicians visiting churches and mosques and what have you to get blessings. What words should we be expecting to hear from our preachers, from our pastors, especially during this season and as we go into 2015?
I think the best thing and the